This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Monday, July 13th, 2020. The title of this rant is "The Super Wealthy Throw Crumbs to Black Lives Matter and Others." So right now the protests are predominantly over, and the hard part to achieving, let's just say, racial equality has begun. And of course, this was going to be needed to be done at the local, state, municipal, county, federal level. And it's going to have to be a lot of hard work to get that done. And what we're talking about, I'm just going to mention a few, let's say economically, to have the minimum wage increased, to a level that will sustain a living wage, and to have the minimum wage tied to inflation and gets increased by that without having to have Congress pass a law each time. We need to have equality in education, where all of our schools are funded to an equal degree, and not have wealthy areas of the country have much, much better schools than economically, let's say, deprived areas. We need to have equality in healthcare, and not necessarily have healthcare tied to jobs. We have to have affordable housing also. And all of this stuff is a lot of hard work's got to be done. And the super wealthy who speak basically through corporate America, they've thrown their breadcrumbs out there. They've talked about how terrible all of this is. They're going to throw $50 million here, $10 million here. We're going to try and improve all of this stuff. We want to help everyone, and at the same time, they've thrown what I call breadcrumbs, because basically this doesn't amount to squat, because the top 10 people in America, their wealth is increased by $450 billion or something, and they're lucky to be throwing $450 million, and that's just, let's just say, through corporate, not through their own stuff. Because remember, the super wealthy still want to have their corporate tax cuts. They want to have their personal tax cuts. They do not want to have an increase in the capital gains tax, capital gains assessment. They do not want to have an increase in the inherited wealth assessment. I haven't seen any of these corporations talking about increasing the minimum wage in any way at all. And of course, there's been absolutely no talk by any of them to say, oh, maybe unions should start getting involved so that the poor can have some type of collective rights when they are going into the workforce. No, there has been absolutely none of that. They still want what they want. And of course, what they want specifically and mostly is a cheap and desperate workforce, because that's what they've had all along. The more they keep their wages down, and the more desperate people are to keep their jobs, the less they're going to fight about increasing their wages, so to speak. And of course, they're willing to use what I would say is their ill-begotten gains, or their ill-begotten wealth, to pay off elected representatives in our representative democracy, mostly Republicans, but yes, Democrats also, to keep that ill-gotten wealth. And this battle is just beginning, and it is going to be a hard-fought battle, and this is the next battlefront, and we need to be at the forefront of this, because the wealthy Americans will be relentless in keeping all of their ill-begotten wealth.